My name is Vincent, and I've always held on to the belief that love cannot survive without trust. Take away trust, and what's left is nothing more than a beautiful illusion, something that looks solid on the outside but is hollow inside. That belief became more than a thought for me. It became a harsh reality. I was engaged to a woman named Casey. We'd been together for years, carefully building what I believed was a strong and lasting foundation. Piece by piece, I thought we were shaping the kind of future people dream about. But all of that collapsed in a single night, the night I learned she was still involved with someone else. That discovery turned my world upside down, and I want to share exactly how everything unraveled. Casey and I first crossed paths at a housewarming party hosted by a mutual friend. What began as light-hearted small talk turned into hours of deep conversation. We clicked instantly, and before the evening ended, we exchanged numbers. At first, things were casual, coffee dates, quick lunches squeezed into busy schedules, but casual didn't last long. Soon, those little meetups became dinners, weekend outings, and endless late-night talks. Eventually, we made it official and called ourselves a couple. Our relationship grew at a natural pace. We weren't rushing, but we weren't stagnant either. A few years in, Casey started spending nearly every weekend at my place, from Friday evening through Sunday night. It felt right. She never officially moved in, but in many ways, we were already living together. My apartment was larger and more comfortable, and though I visited her place occasionally, staying there full-time never made much sense for us. One of the things I admired most about her was how open she seemed. From the very beginning, she talked freely about her past, old relationships, family struggles, even mistakes she admitted to making. She didn't appear to have walls, or at least none that I could see. She often mentioned a childhood friend she was still close with. According to her, he was like a brother, someone who'd always been around but never in a romantic way. I never doubted her. She had never given me a reason to. Eventually I proposed, and she said yes with tears in her eyes and genuine excitement in her voice. We started planning everything. Possible wedding venues, ideas for the honeymoon, even the kind of home we wanted to build together. I was completely invested, not just emotionally but financially as well. I was saving money, making preparations, doing everything I could to create the life I thought she deserved. It felt real. It felt secure. But appearances can be deceptive, and even the most convincing picture can conceal something ugly. It was a Friday night, nothing out of the ordinary. Casey arrived at my place with her usual overnight bag, cheerful and talkative. We had dinner together, and during the meal, she casually mentioned she'd have to leave early the next day to visit her parents. She said it was family stuff. I didn't pry. I'd always believed in giving her space when she didn't want to share details. She had never lied to me before, so I saw no reason to start doubting her now. After dinner, we moved to the couch and put on a movie we'd been wanting to watch. Halfway through, she drifted off, her head resting on my shoulder, something she often did when she was tired. I wrapped my arm around her and let her sleep as I watched the rest of the film. That's when I noticed her phone screen lighting up repeatedly with incoming messages. It wasn't making any sound, just flashing quietly. I assumed it was a harmless group chat. When the credits rolled, I leaned forward to wake her but caught sight of the messages on her lock screen. They weren't the kind of messages a brotherly friend would send. Without even thinking, I entered her passcode. We had exchanged passwords long ago as a gesture of trust, something that was supposed to mean honesty between us. I unlocked the phone expecting to find nothing suspicious. Instead, what I saw tore everything apart. The messages were from that same childhood friend she'd always mentioned. But they weren't casual. They were playful, intimate, filled with inside jokes and affection I couldn't understand. Scrolling further, I saw their plans, specific arrangements for the very next day. One text stood out. "Can't wait to see you tomorrow." Her response was a heart emoji followed by, "I told him I'd be at my family's. We're good to go." That message had been sent just hours earlier, while we were having dinner together. I didn't wake her. I just sat there in silence, staring at the woman I thought I knew, sleeping peacefully on my shoulder as if nothing was wrong. My chest felt hollow, my mind spiraling with questions. How long had this been happening? Had I been blind all along? Was I not enough for her? Why would she lie just to be with someone else? The next morning, she woke up as if it were any other day. She kissed me lightly on the cheek, went to brush her teeth, then came back to pack her bag. As she moved around the room, she kept saying how much she'd miss me, how she wished the weekend could last longer, and even promised to leave work early next time so we'd have more time together. I barely spoke while she packed. Every word leaving her mouth sounded rehearsed, as if she'd practiced them the night before. Maybe she had, just to cover her real plans. At one point she paused, looked at me with a hint of concern, and asked softly, "Are you okay?" I gave her nothing more than a shrug and a vague response. She chuckled lightly, mistaking my silence for moodiness. "You're already missing me, huh?" she teased, nudging me playfully to break the tension. I forced a faint smile, but inside, it felt like I was drowning in everything I wasn't saying. When she zipped her bag and headed for the door, I followed like always. Normally, I'd open it for her, she'd give me a kiss, and we'd part ways with the same familiar routine. But this time was different. As she stepped out, I didn't say, "Drive safe," or "Text me when you get there." Instead, I met her eyes and said, "Good luck on your date." Her expression shifted instantly, confusion, shock, panic, all battling for space on her face. She stammered, "Wait, what are you talking about?" Her voice cracked, but I didn't let her continue. I raised my hand, calm but firm. "Stop. Don't." That was all I said before closing the door. And as the lock clicked, something in me sealed shut as well. The silence didn't last. Almost immediately, she started pounding on the door, frantic and desperate, like she could undo what had just happened. Her knocks turned into muffled sobs, then pleading. Her voice broke as she begged me to just listen. Meanwhile, my phone buzzed over and over. I didn't need to check to know who it was, but I did anyway. The screen filled with messages. "Please open up. Let me explain. It didn't mean anything. I'm not going anymore. I'll cut off anyone you want. Just let me in." I stared at the words, numb. None of it added up. If it truly meant nothing, why lie? Why pretend she was visiting family just to sneak away? Why go to such lengths to hide it? My chest felt heavy with questions I couldn't answer. Was everything between us fake? Did she ever really love me? Or was I just the safe choice while she held on to feelings for someone else? Had he always been lingering in the background, waiting? I stayed silent. I didn't open the door. I didn't text back. Eventually, after hours of knocking, crying, and flooding my phone with messages, she left. But it didn't end there. Not even close. The following days, and even weeks, my mornings began the same way, with my phone full of unread texts. Her messages grew shorter, more raw. "Please talk to me. I didn't mean to hurt you. I miss you." And late one night, I saw this. "I know I don't deserve another chance, but I'll keep asking until you tell me to stop." I never blocked her. I rarely even opened the messages, but I'd see them flash across my lock screen. The temptation to respond was always there, because I had loved her. But every time I thought of giving in, I remembered the lies, the secrecy, the betrayal. One weekend, she showed up again. A knock at my door. I didn't move at first, just sat on the couch waiting for it to stop. But she stayed. After minutes of silence, another knock. Then her voice. "Vincent, please. I'm not here to argue. I need to talk." I stayed quiet, but she didn't leave. 15 minutes passed before she spoke again, her voice breaking this time. "You were right. I messed up. But please, at least let me explain." That's when I opened the door. I didn't say a word, just stood there waiting. She started talking. She said she'd been emotionally confused, that what she went back to wasn't love, just a piece of her past she didn't know how to let go of. She admitted she had lied, convinced she could hide it forever. She repeated again and again that it didn't mean anything. But if it truly meant nothing, why the secrecy? Why the deception? The lies alone told me it wasn't meaningless. I let her finish. I didn't interrupt once. When her words finally ran out, she looked at me like she was waiting for a verdict. So I asked her the only question that mattered. Would you have told me if I hadn't found out? She froze. Her mouth opened, then closed. Her lips trembled as her eyes dropped to the floor. Silence. That silence was the only answer I needed. If I hadn't checked her phone, she would have gone off that weekend, come back smiling like nothing happened, and continued planning our wedding. I stepped back. She lifted her eyes, full of fragile hope, maybe thinking I'd forgive her. But I didn't. Then this engagement was built on lies, I said quietly. And I won't build a marriage on that. She tried to speak again, but I lifted my hand gently. I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't even angry anymore. I was just done. Don't call. Don't text. Don't come here again. Let this be the last time. Then I closed the door and locked it. She lingered outside for a moment, eyes filled with pain, before walking away. People say trust is the backbone of love. I never imagined I'd be forced to question every piece of it. But when I uncovered what Casey had been hiding, it wasn't just trust that shattered, it felt like love itself had cracked. That's the cruelest part of betrayal. It doesn't just break the present, it makes you doubt the past. Even now, I look back on memories and wonder, was that real? I won't claim I've fully healed. I haven't. But I do know this. I deserve honesty. So I'll leave you with a question. If you were in my place, what would you have done? Did I make the right choice? Or should I have handled it differently? Maybe your perspective could help someone else facing the same storm.